Hello, and thank you for joining us in our podcast called The Growth Journey. This is the place where you will start your personal growth and development. I'm glad you're here. I am your host, Cheryl Hart. So, last week we talked about the introductions of emotional intelligence, and we have learned the benefits and the importance of having a high EQ, and that can affect the quality of our lives because it influences our behavior and our relationship. So today we will get to expand a bit more about the emotional intelligence, which is our topic today is about empathy. Okay, so first of all, to help us understand empathy, let's clearly define what it is and what that means. So, by definition, empathy is the capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within their frame of reference. That is the capacity to place oneself in another person's position or on other person's lives. So, for example, if we see someone crying at the loss, perhaps of a loved ones, and we feel the weight of that when we see someone who's crying deeply because of the pain or the sadness that they endure because of the loss of the someone, we feel that pain and we feel like we're about to cry too, right? And even when we are watching a movie, so take for example, if you're watching a movie or a TV show when it has a really great a sad story, a storyline, and we tend to feel those characters as we are part of the show, and that's how you know it is a great story because you felt it, and by feeling it you become part of the story and you can feel it in a sense it and sense it as well, and you become emotional about it. Okay, so what do we call of this is a process of emotional contagion allows our emotions to influence our own. So this is a form of empathy, is referred to as a affective or emotional empathy. So we mirror the emotions of another, either a character or the character that they portray if they are actors, and also a person that we know. We kind of felt those sadness in our veins, in our body, in our emotions. So why empathy? So this a question actually is why empathy is important for, let's say, in our career, in our success in our career. So it has been said that one way to improve your ability to empathize with others is by working with people from different backgrounds. And when I first read this, working with people with different backgrounds, when I read this and I'm picturing a workplace. So in a workplace, you probably have heard the two words, such as diversity and inclusion. That's what comes to my mind is diversity and inclusion. Nowadays, these initiatives of words that you probably have heard this with many organizations and companies, especially in your company, about there's initiative going on in your company perhaps about promoting more about diversity and inclusion, right? So around around all of this things that they will promote, these two words has been thrown this words has been thrown like hotcakes left and right, I should say. And as a result, it is more divisive for me and exclusive more than ever. Instead of being diversity and inclusion, actually it's more divisive and exclusive than ever before. Because they've been throwing around these words like hotcakes, and they're trying to define it and trying to cater to people to connect with them, but it doesn't really resonate to majority of people, and it's kind of sad to see that. And I'm probably a slow learner, probably they have some high level discussion about diversity inclusion in their organization, but I just didn't get it. But it doesn't, you have to have some sort of something that resonate people in what exactly the diversity and inclusion in a company. So I get more confused than ever. why it is, so in my view, okay, so in my view, if we are conducting or we are promoting or this initiative of diversity inclusion, it's just too much, and in my view there is so it's not something like that. I have to I'm trying to find a right word for that. Okay, so give me a few minutes and I'll come around. So you know what, so okay, so diversity inclusion is more about people. Okay, when you see people and you see a lot different backgrounds, right? And there's main thing that people want. People want respect and that they are valued, and whatever their talents, their skills and strength and their gifts, if they put it out there, they want to feel like they are valued, right? So for people, it's all about people. Diversity inclusion is, which means it's just people. Okay, it's about people and how they were felt with that. Okay, and which always reminds me of, okay, this is what I'm trying to convey, in which what reminds me of and myself of always the quote that says, treat people the way you want to be treated. That is, and that's plain and simple. Treat people the way you want to be treated. So there's no such thing as diversity or exclusivity on it. And I'm afraid that someone, will get offended with that, especially to those who are come up with those words. I know it's been existing before, but the way they implement it is not resonate to majority of people. People, when you work with people, they want to be treated with respect, no matter what background they are, what nationality they are, what color of their skin are. It doesn't matter. They want to feel that they are respected and they are valued. Whatever they put in the table, their strength, their talents and gifts, when they offer that to the company, they want to be valued and get credit for it, right? Based on their merit. So in a sense that those are what reminds me of when working with people. Always been is to treat people the way you want to be treated and be respectful, right? So by doing so, you will gain more respect from people. You will gain their trust and you will gain credibility from them too and build that relationship with them. And when you treat them right and with dignity, they will come around and they will feel great about themselves. So, so that's how it is. When you explore in this way, not through diversity and inclusion, that a lot of organization has been thrown around like, but there's no definite meaning on that. What it does is more devising other people, because when you say words like that, but that's not what they looking for. They want simple enough. What they're looking for is having that they are respected and they are valued. That's it. Treat people the way you want to be treated. So if you are one of those who are implementing or pushing an initiative about diversity and inclusion in your workplace, I would just say that probably create something that what it is that can resonate all of us. What it is, what does everybody want? What does everybody need? What are we looking for? And as a human being, we want to feel that we are respected and we are valued. Okay, so that's how it resonate to me the most when you have that. So when the quote, it says that one way to improve your ability to empathize with others is by working with people from different backgrounds, and that's it. You have to work with different backgrounds, and by doing that you have to be respect their culture, respect how they are, who they are, how they grow up, respect their anything that they're going through. So that's empathy, right? So you're looking at it, you are actually applying empathy if you are the one who is pushing on how to respect people and love them who they are and accept them. So there's no such thing as diversity and inclusion, in my opinion. This is all about people. Treat them the same way that you want to be treated. And by doing that, You expanded more of your empathy, and this is what the EQ means, your emotional intelligence, because you are aware of where you're surrounding, you are aware who your people are and who you work with, and you get to know them in a personal level, in a deeper level, and what motivates them and what strengths and talents that they have. And if you know that their strength and talents that they have, you are able then to bring it over and get it out in the system, right? And they will be able to apply those. Okay. So think about it next time when you see diversity inclusion initiative in every area. Just know that people just want to be respected. People want to be treated right. People treated with dignity, and they are valued for what they get to offer. So, and that empowers them. Okay. So next time, we can create some, probably a better way on that, or maybe cater it in a different way when you are promoting this way. So this is why, to treat people the way you want to be treated is empathize with them. Meaning that you feel their pain, and that's what empathy is. Okay. So let me tell you a story. When I was 20 years old, I started selling life insurance to supplement my minimum wage income. And of course, at that time, I am the breadwinner of the family. So I had to find a way to get more income, for my family to support them. And this is with my brother and my mother, to feed them and all that. So to support them as a breadwinner. So I was selling life insurance, and the way I do that before, a long time ago, early 2000, that I was knocking on the door. Back then I still knock on the door. So in my spare time, actually, I calling. So I call people up and say, hey, I have great opportunity here. You want to be part of, all of that salesy pitch that you have to say to them when you are on the phone. So in that situation, on that experience that I have learned how to close these deals and learning how to respond when the potential customer is trying to push back. Okay, as a salesperson, when you are a hardcore seller, you have this strategy that you learn how to close the deal, and especially when customer pushing back and they said no, right? And I was trying to use, some of the words. So one of the words that really resonate to me until now, and I still use it in some ways, but not trying to sell them insurance at all. But that's something that it really, I think it will be good to share this with you. So I was trying to use this line when the customer is trying to push back on the services that I was trying to offer to them, and I will say, I understand, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I understand how you feel, and I feel the same way too. And when I was in your situation, and this is what I have done, and then I explain what I've done, right? And this is why this service truly had helped me, and not just anyone, but also myself and other people that I sold this to. And this is why the service truly helped everyone who bought the service. So first of all, I did use the product on my own, okay? And I would not sell anything if I didn't use them, and if I didn't use it myself, and that will lose my integrity and credibility right there. So first of all, I don't use a product or services I don't sell them if I don't use it myself. So I have to use it first, so I can tell them what it's about, and I get that experience. So on those lines, when I said, I understand how you feel, I feel the same way too. So I use empathy in closing the deal, or closing the objections on that. So there are times people would like to see that, someone actually feel their pain. So it kind of, when you say something like that, you empathize them, that you agree with them, and you feel the pain. You acknowledge that you feel their pain, and someone is also walking on their shoes, knowing that someone is walking in their shoes, and put yourself, on on their shoes as well. So but you have to be genuinely when you do empathize with someone, and you have to be intentional about it, because people can sense if you are not genuine enough. It has been said that when we are in tune with our own emotions, we can relate to other people's emotional reality more readily and effectively. So when you practice empathy at your workplace, you will learn so many things. So a number of those that you will learn when you practice empathy in your workplace, one of them is, one, you will be better at your job. Okay, when you empathize, you'll be better at your job. Not just knowing and understanding your colleagues, empathy will make you a more efficient and effective provider to your clients. Like I said earlier, when I use that word, I understand how you feel, and I feel the same way too. When your customer hear that words from you, it's like, oh, you actually hearing me. You actually know what I'm going through, and that really builds credibility on you, and you gain their trust. It's like, oh, now I could talk to someone because they actually care for me. So if you are a salesperson, those are really great line for you. Not just using as a line, but that's a way for you to bridge that conversation and to connect with your customer when you say something like that and empathize them in some ways. Or if you are a leader, if you have an employee who's going through so much stuff, and you will say, hey, it's okay. I feel you. I understand how you feel, and I feel the same way too. I feel you right now when you're going through with that. Even though you are not walking, you have not experienced that sadness or pain that they're going through, but at least you convey to them that, yes, I hear you. I'm here for you. I understand. So that's really important if you are a leader. And you are a salesperson, it's really important if you are trying to connect with your important customers and empathize them in that way. Okay? And you will also be able to read or anticipate. So when you practice empathy in your job, you are better at or able to read or anticipate the needs of your clients or your customers or even your colleague when you do that. And you are also better equipped to deal with interpersonal conflict when you know how to empathize with them. And it will help you to resolve any potential conflict that may arise from misunderstanding. Okay? And also, it's also true that many problems we have had is due to misunderstanding. You can predict other people or reactions when you interact with the people you work with. So a lot of problems that we have can be solved if we understand them. And by understanding them is to put yourself in their shoes. Okay? And also in your workplace, you will be able to motivate the people around you if you know how to use or how to empathize with them. So when you start treating people with respect and treat them the way they want to be treated and help them on what they want to achieve, you will be equipped to inspire and motivate the people around you. So this is something that if you are a leader, this is something that you can practice with your people to be more empathized with them. Okay? And lastly, since having the skills or ability of empathy, you will be able to understand people around you in your workplace and family and friends. And when you do that, understanding them, you will become an effective leader who inspire others or also develop them, developing more and yourself as a caring and passionate relationships for them. So these are just some of the reasons why empathy is important in your career success and all, especially in a workplace. So if you apply that, you will solve a lot of problems. You will solve a lot of misunderstanding, and you will have other people. You can inspire and motivate other people too when you know how to, empathize with them. Okay. So the next question is, and this is important. The next question is, are women are more emotionally intelligent than men? That's a good question, right? So according to Psychology Today, an article in Psychology Today, there are three kinds of empathy. Number one is cognitive empathy, which means being able to know how the other person sees things. And then there's the second one is emotional empathy, feeling what the other person feels. And the third one is empathetic concern, or empathy, being ready to help someone in need. Okay. And so in general, women tend to be better at emotional empathy than men. Okay, in general. So this kind of empathy fosters rapport and chemistry. So people who excel in emotional empathy make good like counselors, teachers, or group leaders because of their ability to sense in the moment how others are reacting. And here's also where women differ from men. So this is where the difference between men and women as far as empathy. So if the other person is upset or the emotions are disturbing, women's brains tend to stay with those feelings. But men brains do something else. They sense the feelings for a moment, then tune out of the emotions and switch to other brain areas that try to solve the problem that's creating the disturbance. So does women's complaint that men are tuned out emotionally, and for men that women are too emotional and it's those are the two difference of the brain of men and women. So they view women as very emotional because they linger on it, right? We women sometimes will linger on those emotions, but men, they only emotion in that moment and then they tune out right away. Okay, so neither of this is better, and both have advantages actually. So the men tune out works well when there's a need to insulate yourself against distress so you can stay calm while others around you are falling apart, and focus on finding a solution to urgent problem. So men tend to be, when in that situation we are in an emotional situation, they tend to be, make a decision right away and quick. Okay, I got this emotion going on now. Okay, let me get out of it. And focus on what the important things, which is great. As a leader, or if you're leading, you cannot just linger on those emotions. You have to get out of it and focus on the important part. And the female tendency to stay tuned tune in. So female tend to tune in and helps enormously to nurture and support others in emotionally trying circumstances. So we women are very caring, right? This is our nature. We're very caring people, and we know, we can sense if someone is being sad or having a hard time, and we always offer the help. We don't think about it. We just instinct that we're trying to care for them and sometimes we're trying to solve a problem for them for some reason, right? So sometimes we go above and beyond that that the person, to help out the person. So we go above and beyond with that. So as we can see, we can learn from both sides of the brain, woman's brain and in men's brain, how to tune in and tune out, and then focus on the important things at the same time. How to help other people, and and jump in and when it's necessary, right? So because of this, because of having so much empathy, sometimes, how it is in life. Sometimes when you do too much, it's not good, right? Anything too much in life is not good, and two emotions rolling in our brain, in our body, is not ideal either, right? And we have to have balance and to learn when is a good time to use them. So in Psychology Today also stated that too much empathy, sometimes known as empathy fatigue or compassion fatigue can be detrimental to one's well-being and can interfere with rational decision making, which is causing people to lead with their hearts rather than their heads and lose a broader perspective or ignore potential long-term consequences of overly empathetic behavior. So it has to be balanced. You can be compassionate when you need to and can make a decisions in rational way and also with facts too, if you need to use them. This is why, it is why top companies out there who are successful have had gender balance, because you need both. You need to balance them both. You need the empathy and you need someone with the decision, and don't linger with those. Okay, so according to Real Leaders article called World Top Companies Stand Gender Balance, it states that a growing number of studies show the correlation between gender balance in leadership and improved corporate performance. So the complementary skills and styles of men and women have a positive impact on a business. It is not surprising that most of educated, talented in the world, and not to mention the largest or the majority consumer in the marketplace, are female. Okay? In our 21st century, more companies now are begun to make a gender balance in leadership, and they are making it a strategic priorities in their company. So here are some of the companies who have achieved at least between 25% or 40% companies out there around the world. So in the US, we have IBM, Microsoft, Oracle, PepsiCo. They are reaching the gender balance in their company, so between 25% to 40%. Okay, and in Europe, the same thing. We have Barclay, NSF, and NSCF. Sorry, and I hope I pronounced this correctly. It's a Deutsche Telekom, a telecommunication company which is based in Germany. And there's a lot more opportunity to improve the gender balance in the workplace. And I knew, if we keep we keep promoting this emotional intelligence and the importance of it to the people, and we can learn both balancing out the main brains and the woman brains, and how those two can be used together and to make it successful. So there's a lot of opportunity out there, and I know it's still a lot of work to do to have that gender balance. And if this is one of your company that who's promoting it, you're in a good spot, and keep going and keep doing it until we conquer the balance of this gender. And that's another diversity and inclusion, isn't it? For male and female to have that gender balance in the company. So there are, and more studies to do, of course, and research to prove that gender balance in the workplace truly works. And we all can learn from each other. We all have our own strength, talents and skills and gifts. And when these are all put together strategically, then it is just a matter of time to show that it truly works. Okay? So empathy is about putting yourself in someone else's shoes, right? That's what we learned in the beginning. And position feelings or experiences. And it's much easier to relate to someone of what they are going through if you yourself had those experiences as well. You can instantly, like instinct, you can relate to someone who are struggling. Let's say this person is struggling financially, has too much debt, or who are broke, because you have been there, right? You've been financially, you had too much debt before, and you went broke, and even probably homeless at that time. So you have those experiences, the struggling financially, or if you are still today struggling financially, you have these experiences going on. And if you had a divorce, for example, you are divorced and you can relate to someone who are going through their current divorce. And what if you are a widow? right? When you lost your spouse, it is natural for you to relate to someone who is also a widow or losing the spouse. And people who have cancer, you can relate to that, who are going through some tough times right now and trying to fight it, both emotionally and physically. So you see, anything you have had experience in your life, someone and somewhere, a person is going through it right now. And you can guide them, you can help them. You really can. You can help them to, guide them through it in these tough times, because you can relate to them and you have been there yourself. And what you can do then is to show them the way, and show them the way out of it. And so you're giving them inspiration, that so they don't think that, oh, this is it. This is it. This is my life. There's no going up. Oh, I'm always gonna be in the ground, or gonna be deeper on this in this area. But as we have learned before, sometimes these setbacks that we have, sometimes it takes years, setbacks, sometimes shorter, sometimes months or a year, or sometimes longer that, right? So those are setbacks, sometimes not permanent. Especially if you're struggling financially, that's not permanent. You can always find a job, you can always create something, that you can sell, or you can build a business. If you're creating right now, establish that. It just takes time. So those setbacks are only temporary, right? As we learn here in the podcast. And some of these are in our control, and some of them are not in our control. So identify those that are within your control, such as financially, is in your control. You can work 3 jobs temporarily, and working on side hustle, anything that you can do to add more income to your place. It's just a matter of doing it, right? However, there are some things that you cannot control, such as having a cancer, or you becoming a widow, someone passed away. Those are something that you cannot control. So figure out those, and if you are in that situation, you can relate that to other people, and you can help them and guide them and inspire them that, hey, this is how I go through with it. This is how I did it. Let me show it to you, right? So those are things that we can apply, or we can apply our empathy, okay? Walking in their shoes, not just walk in the shoes, you live in their shoes. You were there. And then now you are the reasons how they gonna get out there. Okay? So there are some people who have gone through this type of pain like yourself, but they too can empathize, because at some point in your life, everyone goes through the pain of suffering. Sometimes it is just in a different form. We all have that pain. It's just a matter of different form, or a different situation, and in a different times and in different places. Because here's the truth, okay? The truth about pain and bad experiences is this. So listen up carefully, okay? Number 1, the truth about pain and or bad experiences are, number 1, everyone has them. Okay, everyone has them. It's not just you. I had to, in a different form, in different situation, in different place, in different time, but I had them. Number 2, no one likes them. No one likes them. Who wants to suffer anyway? If you were to choose, you're not gonna pick pain or bad experiences. You don't want that, right? But what are we gonna do, right? No one likes that. And number 3, only few make bad experiences or pain turn it to a positive experiences. Few make bad experiences or pain turn to positive experiences. Okay, so if this is you, that you were turned around and actually use those bad experiences you have and turn it to become a positive one, and you become who you are today, who become successful because of it, then I'm really proud of you. And you are going to be the light for all those people who is going through right now. And that takes your empathy, how you empathize with them, and how you guide them through it. Okay, so if this is true, if everyone has pain and bad experiences, we all have the ability to empathize. We have the skills of empathy, no matter what your color is, no matter your background is, no matter your diversity or inclusion, however you word it out, if either you are a male or female, right? We all have that skill set how to empathize someone. It is just a matter of becoming aware, having a self-awareness, and to truly look deeper inside of us. Okay, so in one of my inspirational quote that I wrote, and I said that the light in the tunnel is not what you really seek. What you seek is how to fire up the light within you, to shine so brightly until you become the light of darkness for someone who is trapped in their own tunnel. So you be the light and lead the way. And you can do that by putting yourself in their own shoes. That is the true power of empathy. Okay? So I hope this series of lessons so far, this is a second one, on emotional intelligence, empathy, had helped you in some ways. Feel free to share this episode to anyone you know, or better yet, the whole entire podcast, The Growth Journey with Share Heart. We can help so that we can help other people and to light up, be the light and to lead them the way, what they're going through right now, and to help them, to get to it, and also to add value for more people and for you too. So also, if you have not yet followed me on Facebook page, I did create a Facebook page for this, and feel free to do so. I have been posting quotes, and some of my snippets or summary or recap of our podcast is also posted in our Facebook page. Our community actually now, our community is growing, and we started off at 48 followers, and now, as of this recording, we are approaching 1,400 to 1,500 followers. So our goal is to get to 20,000 followers by mid-summer of 2020. Okay, so I hope you can help me out with that to reach that goal, to have a 20,000 followers in our Facebook page by mid-summer of 2020. And I will provide the link of our Facebook page in the summary notes, so you can check it out and click to it and start following us, so you can update all these quotes that we created, and also the snippet of the Fatcast episode. And I'll probably eventually put more just a free lessons there to teach. That's why I would like to grow the followers, so we have more audience to spread the word out of the importance of personal growth and development. Okay, so with that, always remember, if you don't invest in your own personal growth, no one will. Take care and be well.